Let's turn off the lights. Hey.
Welcome to the Spring Sojourn closing celebration. We are in a very celebrative mood here in Chicago on the 6th floor of ICA Green Rise as we bring the 2-week Spring Sojourn to a close. It's been a hard-working 2 weeks. A lot has been accomplished. A lot remains. But we're going to spend a little time sharing with you in a kind of show and tell what has been done on what we call the collections. These are the arenas of ICA's historic work that we've chosen, individuals have chosen, to work together to provide a gateway into for whoever wants to explore or learn more about that arena of ICA's activity. So we're going to take, we'll be less than an hour on this broadcast today, and I know everyone is busy and has a full schedule. What we're going to do is begin with a little walkthrough of the collections that are now available. They've been published and are online for anyone to view, to draw on, to leave comments on. We'll talk more about that as we go along. You'll notice that there's a page that describes the arena. There's a page that lists resources that you can click on to learn more about an arena. And there's a page in which to actually engage in conversation with others about that arena today. You'll see these illustrated in just a minute. So I'm going to, in a moment, turn this over to Barrett Griffith, who will be introducing the collections and a member of the team for each one as we go through a quick show and tell on it. You'll be able to see what's on that collection site, and the person who worked on it will give a quick explanation. We have a very tough timekeeper at the back of the room named Frank Knudsen, who will make sure that none of the collection reports exceeds 3 minutes, and we're grateful for that. So I think when we're finished with the collection walkthrough, we're going to say a little bit about what's coming up the rest of this year, especially the research assembly in September, and maybe a bit about how we might get there. But this is enough to get us started, and then just to say at the end of the broadcast we'll transition into a hangout. And those of you who have indicated that you'd like to be invited to the hangout, we'll send you the link to participate in that. But that'll be a separate step. So without further ado, I am going to welcome to the microphone Barrett Griffith. Let's hear it, Barrett.
Well, good afternoon. We've been working on 9 collections over the past couple of weeks. Work has gone on all throughout the year, a little bit on everything. But this last couple of weeks have been really exciting to see the amount of work that's gone on and how the collections have really been filled out. So we're going to start our report with the social process collection and Paul Noah.
Yes, the members of the team of the social process collection were Jack Gillis and John Epps, Gordon Harper, and myself. So we did succeed in getting this put online, but there's plenty of opportunity to grow. So if you look at the site, you'll find the 3 pages. The first one is a description of the social process collection. It tells about the triangles, the graphics that are helpful in analyzing and describing the social process. It talks about the research that we did, especially in summer of '71. It talks about the Lens course, and other applications of the social process, and about the whistle points. The second page is a dialogue page. Just to get started with the dialogue, we've put on there some emails which were snatched from the ICA dialogue emails from over cover a few years. Actually, there's just a string of them which aren't necessarily in their entirety or necessarily carry the right attributes. Then on the third page is a list of resources which we expect will grow as we put form, and as you can see, there's a cool graphic.
What, are you done?
So I'm done.
Oh, okay. The next collection is the New Religious Mode, and I worked on that week 1 and worked a lot with Jean, and it would not have been possible had Jean Long had helped me with it. And Pat Tiki and who else was working with me virtually? Pat and Sonny Walker. And they kind of were being advisors on it. So the first part of it is an introduction. There are still some parts to be added to this. And you need to note that this is a collection that's part of a series of collections on the interior life, and that's called Exploring, Mapping, and Celebrating the Interior Life. And we'll have, Jean will talk about spirit methods a little bit, but then we'll have the other world, profound humanness, the Odyssey, journey constructs, just all sorts of things. And a special thanks to Paul for helping with the graphics on this one. But first there's an overview of the mode, which is the corporates, the solitaries, and the journeys. And then it goes into each of the individual parts of that. And keep going down, yeah, there's quite a bit there, and they're just little snippets to give people an idea of what this is all about. And then in the resources is where the rest of the collection is filled out. And in the resources, for each of these, there will be a big chart that gives all the dynamics of the collection. Then there will be usually a talk and a particular paper that focus just on that aspect of the collection. And there are quite a few things to be added here, but some colorful charts are going to be added, and sort of whatever comes up in the meantime, because things keep appearing, and so things will keep appearing on the site. But invite people to click on these and take a look at them. It was hard for both Jean and I think, to not just dive in and read, because some of the stuff is really very good. Let's see, I can't think of any. Can you think of anything, Jean, that you would add to that? Because you did a lot of work on this, too. Anyway, but it's fun diving back into the file drawers, and then the amount of stuff that we have online now is amazing, and Wendell and Tim have just made it really easy to go after materials. And that's it. Our next one is Spirit Methods, and that's Jean.
We have material from last fall that was put into the computer somewhere, which I have never found. Other people seem to find it. It's a stepchild that will be worked on after we gain the wisdom of these other collections that now will be up and available.
Okay. And the next one is the local church experiment, and Marge Philbrook worked on that, and she has made some contacts, and she has ended up in the hospital and will be with us as soon as she gets back. She just works like a beaver getting on top of all of these things. So we can skip. We don't have any more to say about that right now. And the Human Development Projects and the IERD is the next sort of set of collections.
Yes, the Human Development
Introduce
Project.
yourself.
Oh, I'm Sally Fenton, and the Human Development Project has been a team of Dharmalingam working from Malaysia, and not being able, because he was usually asleep when we were talking, but Jim Weigel. And Jim is responsible for getting it up. But what we have up at this point is the Dharmalingam introduction and a visual that you actually can see and read the names if your broadcast is real good, because the symbol is so full of the names of 24 and the hours that there's not much space. We are working on assets. We did not have very many that were ready to put up. They need to be scanned first. And then we did have some that were, one was 400 pages. We decided that would be a little long for anybody to look at. So we're trying to find short assets. And what you're seeing now are the 10 categories of the assets, or what we see as the major focuses of the Human Development Project that we're going to be sort of dividing them into for their value. And then you see a big picture. And the collection materials, did we go past that? They're just in the process of being put up, I believe, because they're, I think we have a whole group. I can't see from here. They will be up later when we're able to have them all scanned and to decide how many we really want to give people before they hear much more about the Human Development Project.
And the IERD?
The IERD we did not touch in this session. Okay, it may be a separate project, or it may be combined because it was sort of the culmination.
Okay, strategic thinking, Gordon.
All right, Teresa Lingefelter and I collaborated on this. We decided one of the things that has to be talked about is the kind of comprehensive thinking that the Institute tried to do, and the process it developed for doing that, and how that influenced other programs. So at the top of this page, you'll see the lens symbol, and it was bringing a strategic thinking process to communities and organizations, we said, because Lens was being developed from the early days of the Convoy course and the NIMS course that some of you will remember, to the early iterations of Lens, which was partly pedagogy, partly facilitation, to what it has become today in the top network of facilitation processes and training courses. At the same time, village consults were being developed that used the same basic strategic thinking and planning design. And it was fun watching the interplay between the development of what we now think of as the Lens course and the development of the global consults that accompanied the Band 24 we were just hearing about. So this is the description page. We want to do a quick look at the resources page. Here we have some of the early lectures from the NINS course, pictures of some of the consults that used the strategic planning, and then links to assets that will take you more deeply into the understanding of the vision, the contradictions, the proposals as they began, and strategic development, strategic directions, programs, so on. So we're trying to give a little history and also point to how important this was in the work of ICA.
That was Wendell calling in, so we need to get back to him. Somebody needs to call him. The next one is this. You just did strategic thinking, right? Yeah. Oh, Academy is next, and I worked on the Academy, and Marge, along with Wendell, who figured out how to get us all our documents because not much was scanned, and we ended up scanning probably 30 pages or so. And Marge had already thought she would be able to work on this collection, and had already gathered some resources which she gave to me, and so worked away on that. And there's just a lot in the introduction, I think. Yeah. And then the overview, well, the resources are, there are a lot of really fun resources. Have one talk on how to do a talk, and then there's all the preparation notes for how that talk was done, because there's a big description of what the Academy is. There's the time design, the daily time design, the weekly time design, material about the curriculum, one really early article from 1968 from IE, the bi-monthly publication of the Ecumenical Institute, and has some great images in there too. And that's a collection. Just really started working on that this week, so it's basically been a hustle to get something up there for people to see. And where you see all of the pages there, that's actually all one document, and we have to figure out now. It just has to be, not figure out, but has to be put into one document. Those are separate pages of say a 13-page document, a 6-7-page document. And then there are just a lot of other things there that will be fun for people to look at. I think we gathered materials from everything from participants' manuals to a prospectus on the Academy, and there's a little history and a little sort of bringing it up to date. So that's it on that one. And then Green Rise with Sally.
Green Rise is been a two Sojourn project so far, and what you see now is the picture of the Kemper building, which we, as you all know, we were given, well, we paid $1 in 1972, and what's happened to it in the meantime. And we have a sort of a context for why the Green Rise collection was created that Pam Bergdahl did, and that is our first page of what it's about. And then the second page is the resources that we found. We found very little about building in things. This was all early except for the last two, which were our introduction to our request to become a historic building. And we since have found the more professionally bound one that was the one that the city prepared while they were agreeing for us to have that historic building designation. And then the last one is our being becoming a part of the retrofit program, which is the ecological award that we've recently got. We have 2 more pages at least to come. One is is photographs of the kinds of repairs and redoing that we have recently been doing, because we're now on a large ecology based program. And the second will be a chart of the phases of our program and the building and how they meshed together and and headed us in the direction that we are now as a multi-use building, and as a building that's having more and more ecological aspects, including the rooftop being used for
Solar panels.
solar panels, right?
500.
500 solar panels. So, so there are new directions that the Green Rise is taking.
Complete?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah. Pam and Mary Laura Jones and Ken Otto have been the major doers on this project.
Okay.
Let me break in here with a technical issue. We are obviously, just learned this, having difficulty getting the video out to you. And Tim, who's our broadcast engineer, faithfully broadcasting this from Texas. We just got a word from a viewer that it's a black screen on the YouTube channel, though the audio is working well. So maybe.
Well, let's just finish and we'll debug that later.
Yeah. So at the moment, I think we'll continue. Do you have any others?
No, that's it.
Okay.
So, do you want to have that chart at all? For your, okay. No, go
People
ahead.
can't see anything.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, that's right.
So I think Tim, we'll probably want to bring this to a close and see what the issue is with the video. Then we'll go to the Hangout Caladium portion of this, and those who have requested an invitation, we should be sending that to you shortly. So thanks for listening to the radio broadcast here. We'll try to do more of the show and not so much of the tell in the future. And as we say, we're shaking down the technology as we go along here. And thanks to Tim for all of his support on the other end and the team. So
I have one more thing to say. That please go on to the sites and comment. There's room on each of the sites to comment on what you see, suggestions you have. You may even know of resources that you have or you know of that you would like to see on the site, and we'd like that feedback. Thanks.
okay, I think that'll do it for our live broadcast. And Tim, maybe you've already ended that. No?
Did you